fund financial statements in GAAP, okay? And I know I'm covering a lot of information, and there's a tremendous amount to review. On the front of each financial statement, there's a letter from us. And that letter from us has my phone number at the bottom of it. Call me. If you have a question, comment, or concern, call me. We can talk about it, okay? I don't really see any problems here. We did book that sidewalk grant in 2007 and made it receivable because we haven't collected that money yet. And, but we are going to collect that money from what I understand, so.
A step in place.
I mean, on the paperwork that I've got an amendment that extended the time to get it collected, so. I haven't looked at 2010 yet, and I haven't talked to Mike about whether that paperwork's been submitted, but that's all it's a matter of, is getting those documents submitted so that we can get those funds reimbursed.
It has been submitted, and that was reflected in our minutes read earlier.
Okay. So, you know, what we did was we went on and booked it as grants receivable, and it's sitting on our balance sheet now waiting to be collected. So we went on and booked it to offset those expenses at that time. I don't know how in-depth you want to get into these things. There's, like I said, a lot of information, so the best thing to do is probably look it over. Anybody, any council member that has a question, feel free to call me. We're here to serve you, so you just tell us what you need to know, and we'll do our best to answer any questions that you have. Now, I've got your files. I didn't bring them with me tonight, because what I want to do is trade them for the 2010 files.
And I've got to get those, they're all together. When I mean all together, they're all together. I haven't separated them into the correct files yet, so
Okay.
I'll be glad to trade them.
You can work that out.
Yeah, we'll get together and work that out.
So that's really about it. So what you'll find in all three of them is that our opinion is these financial statements are not materially misstated. So they are. There's a lot of numbers and a lot of data there. So the only thing I can ask you to do is and then call me if you have any.
It's like reading material later.
Yeah, there's quite a bit there, so we covered a lot of time in one set of reports, and I think that you guys need to be doing these at a minimum every other year. I think you're gonna be required by the state to do it at a minimum every odd year, so 2011, 2013,
You're,
6 classes.
you're basically talking the majority of the people here is been elected or they're turned over their terms.
Okay. And, you know, there are some things that I would probably like to talk with the people who are in office and that's coming up about some accounting practices and things that I'd like to see put in place here. But while you guys are in flux, it's not the best time to do it. The best time to do it is when the new administration gets in place and figure out who's doing what. I'd like to come back and talk about the best way to get your accounting system set up so that you can keep track of this stuff really good and not have to worry so much about this audit should be a piece of cake. So, any other questions, comments?
I just have one, is on the amount that was turned in from what you see on the request, what's the exact amount of that?
Well, the only thing we booked 27,000 exactly, but I don't think that's exactly
No,
right.
that's not. Because if you remember,
The grant was for like 39,000.
Yeah. that's,
Which year was that?
2007.
And what Rick Dunaway asked about the amount that was turned in, what amount of what?
Is that sidewalk bill?
yes, that's the highway.
Yeah,
Okay.
just, what I was asking is how much
Okay,
was the request for?
we had several discussions about this. And if you can remember, I told you, we had to match 20%. We spent $32,000. Our request is going for 25. That's with the 20% out. Okay? Now I told you enough time that we had to match 20%.
Yeah, you've said that many times, but we always get different numbers, that's why we got to where we're at, where it's just that you hard to keep track of.
I can go back and pull the minutes out and show you every time we discussed it.
That's fine.
I'm telling you the facts, the way it is. You know, I gave you a copy of the check, and I gave you a copy of the pay request, which comes up to 32,000 some odd. So,
You actually told me and Rick, right here, sitting here, that it was closer to $40,000.
you couldn't be.
Nobody was here but me and Rick and you. You said
The total,
40,000.
if you would read,
Okay.
if you
Am I
read the
wrong or
grant,
right?
listen to me, if you read the grant, they're going to give us up to $39,000, but that's counting our match in there.
You start at 20,000.
I'm not gonna argue about it right now.
Well,
We've been through this a dozen times, you've all called me a thief,
am I right?
I'm just not arguing.
I'm not gonna
either.
argue about it.
But you told me that.
Was we having these discussions behind closed doors or what? Because we knew nothing of it.
When I went to Frankfurt, I come back, I told him what Frankfurt had
The
told me
next
to
day.
do, and this, when we got that was that
Wait,
side.
stop,
Well,
stop,
one thing.
stop. Is there any other question for him?
To what?
Oh, just one thing. By the time this all is said and done, how much is this gonna cost the city?
Well, it's according to our original proposal. I've got a bill here for the last $1,000 on these 3 years, and then there'll be another 1,000 on the 2010, it's a total of $5,000.
And what was the original, what it started out?
I don't remember what the proposal said.
Well, we were doing $1,500 for the first year, and $1,000 for each year after. But we were gonna skip a year, and then I guess you guys decided we didn't wanna skip a year, just do them all, so I said I would do them all for 1,000 apiece to make $5,000.
So it's costing us $5,000.
I
All
think-
total,
I
to
think-
get all the way through June of 2010.
I think what we looked at was about $6,000. Any other questions of him?
Yeah, I'm not billing you by the hour or anything, I have a contract that says this is what we're charging, and that's what.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I just wanna know what the outcome was gonna cost, because I just wanna know what the city's gonna be out.
Yeah, see,
It's all said and done.
If I could audit you every year, I can do it for about $1,000. If I audit you every other year, it's gonna be more like 1,500, because we got that span of
gap.
time.
Yeah.
The problem is, no matter what I do, I gotta look at the whole span of time. I've gotta go from one audit to the next. So the
Yeah.
reality is, I've gone from 2003 to 2009 so far. That's 6 years. Okay, I would really like to put your minds at ease, but I don't know that I can do that. All I can tell you is, I don't see a problem. Okay? Anything
That
else?
was our main concern of you coming down here, so we could get that out of you.
Okay.
So I'm good with
You
it.
wanna leave that bill with us, please?
Yes.
And we'll-
So that
we'll
pays,
deal with it.
that bill pays through 2009, and then we have the 2010 year to do still, which will be another 1,000. Okay?
Thank you for your time.
Okay, everybody seen the bills? Questions? We have an addition of $1,000 for August. Says on here, final bill for 2007, 2008, 2009 on, $1,000. Any questions? Make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those are done. You should have a copy of check register for KHC, KIA, KHC, and block grant. And you should have a copy of the statement from the bank. KIA. I show a balance of $1. And the bank shows a balance of $1. Is there any questions about it?
$1 on which,
on KIA.
okay.
Are there any questions about the balance? Do you know what's in the bank? The next one you have is KHC, a balance of 0, which means that bank account has been closed out. The last check that was wrote was for $1 back to the city of Glencoe to close the account. And you'll see that on your bank statement also. You'll see a copy of the check. Are there any questions about that? And the next thing you have is block grant. You got registered, it goes all the way from '05. No, actually that was 10, 11, and 10. That was a check for 73 cents to come back to the city of Glencoe to close that account out. So it's also a 0. Are there any questions about it? You all know where the money's at.
Or not.
Any questions about these 3 grant programs?
Are they all closed out now?
All but KIA.
Oh, but yeah.
That's the house is gonna be closed down, right?
House is all closed up. In fact, when I get done here tonight, 3 of those get packaged up and sent to Miss Lowry. And I'll turn around and send the copy up to the state auditor. I'm also sending a copy up to a block grant people. So they're aware that it has been done. Any other questions about it? Move on then. You should have the paperwork for city request and agreement for a letter of abatement grant funding, 2 miles total streets. I don't know what they're going to give us. That would be, hey Jim,
Jack,
Jim, I need those.
Oh, you need these?
Yeah,
Okay.
those gotta go off somewhere.
thank you.
They're gonna determine the amount of the grant. We don't, I don't know how they do it, what formula they use. I think last year before last, $134, I think it was. Sound about right to you?
I think it wasn't
It-
very much.
yeah. I seen one city get $60 for a litter abatement, so. I have no clue. Is there any questions about what I submitted? That's what it is. There's, right now,
Carrollton was wanting to land in the contact
we're having what I call a nice squabble with Carrollton Utilities right now. As you know, we have 2 House bills. 267, which was $400,000, and House Bill 608 for $200,000. I told Carrollton they can have the rest of our grant that we have left since Glencoe is completed on sewer. But I told them whatever they done, it had to be legal. So we're having an issue with them taking our money and mixing it with Gent's grant, Worthville's grant, Gallatin County's grant, Carrollton's EDA grant, and local funds